Okay, I'm going to say it, and I want to hear everybody whoop it up in agreement. Spelling. Spelling can be one of the most challenging subjects in so many ways. And for adults to spell correctly, for children to spell correctly. And I hear a lot of parents talking about it on the daily. Who am I? I'm Jacqueline. This is Homeschool Hangout.xyz, where I, a veteran homeschooler of 1.5 years, no, seriously, 18 years, makes videos to help you homeschool with grace, confidence, and, hopefully a little fun to go with it, especially if you're here in the state of California. If you are new and that interests you, I don't just make California videos, but I do make those too. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, buy me a coffee. If you're shopping on Amazon, do me a favor, shop through my storefront. Every little bit helps and it doesn't change your price at all. So let's get into it. I was talking to a friend and she was talking about spelling struggles with her kid of like they have a hard time keeping their verbs. They're not their verbs, their vowels straight. And I was thinking back to my own children and my own self. And spelling was never like my best subject at all. And I am a pretty decent speller now. And there are tips and tricks that I did as a child that really seemed to help me spell. And I look back at my kids and I read all the books, and the book said, if you just have them read a lot, they'll just naturally be great spellers. Liars, 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 liars. It doesn't always pan out that way. So we did different little curriculums and things like this, but today we're going to talk about something that I know helps my spelling. So, how do you spell Wednesday? No, I don't mean what are the letters. I mean, what is your process? So many adults I speak to say Wednesday. So you're learning to pronounce it to help you spell it. That is not what we're doing. We're not teaching our children to say words weirdly. But for me, I can say one of the things that really helped my children and helped me is learning how to say words, and that helps me know how to spell them. So Wednesday, don't say that. People will look at you weird at the grocery store. But there's something to it. Wednesday, right? Okay, so let's take this into a more functional, less weird sounding way. And what did it for me is my mother started me in oral interp in elementary school in first grade. What is oral interp? I know. And I only did it in first grade because I wasn't dramatic enough. But that's fine. She made me memorize other things, and that helped. Oral interpretation is where you memorize poems and stories and little bits and you perform them. Okay, so there's the drama side of it. That's all fun and good and all this. But the other part that really helps is learning how to pronounce words. I'm going to give an example. A friend of mine said her kid is having issues with was or was. When he flips those vowels, which is a very common thing. I remember my siblings doing that more than my kids. But you know what helps with that? Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very fuzzy, was he? You pronounce all those words slightly different. Fuzzy, was, fuzz, was. I know, it doesn't sound like a big difference, and you're like, oh, come on, Jackie, like that really helps. No, it really does. And so today, one of my best resources, and this is one of my favorite ones, it can be different things. I love A Light in the Attic by Shel Silverstein and all of Shel Silverstein. And teaching children how to pronounce and elocute is one of the words properly helps their spelling because they hear the difference. The reason most children can't spell a word is because they don't hear the difference. And I'll be honest, English is weird. English does not help them out. So, what do I mean? Okay, so this is the poem that I learned in first grade for oral interpretation. Bear in there. There's a polar bear in our Frigidaire. He likes it 'cause it's cold in there. With his seat in the meat and his face in the fish and his big hairy paws in the buttery dish. He's nibbling the noodles, he's munching the rice, he's slurping the soda, he's licking the ice. And he lets out a roar if you open the door, and it gives me a scare to know he's in there. That polary bear in our Frigidaire. Yes, I know. Yeah. I learned it when I was 6. But I'm going to talk about, let's talk about some of these words. One, crisp, clean elocution is important. And I say this as somebody who talks way too fast and is way too hard to understand. I know it. You should hear my husband and children complain about it. So in this poem, we talk about in our Frigidaire. And then at the bottom, we say in our Frigidaire. You pronounce those words differently. You spell those words differently. Frigidaire, Frigidaire. There's a T and a Y in that. So you can go through things like this. Now, not all of them are that long. Policeman, policeman, help me please. Someone went and stole my knees. I chase him down, but I suspect my feet and legs just won't connect. One of the things this really does, and I've noticed, is if you have a child with any kind of lisp, and I have one of those. My mom was harsh on me. My mom would yell at me about how I pronounce things. This is a fun way to help them speak more clearly without being negative. Now, it doesn't always have to be poetry. You know, this is not about poetry per se. It is about rhyming. It is about picking the words and saying them clearly. So you can, especially if you've got, like say you've got a 6-year-old and you've got a 3-year-old. Dr. Seuss was a great one with my kids. And they would just go through and learn how to speak it. It doesn't have to be hard. Now, you can dress it up. I had a little thing where I stand up. There's a bear in our Frigidaire with his seat in the meat. And I crouch down like I'm sitting, and it was ridiculous. I know, but it was adorable to a 6-year-old, I'm sure. Or it was adorable for my mother to watch her 6-year-old. I don't know. But I will be honest, when I, at almost 50, go to spell words I don't know or things like that, I've also studied roots. So you pair those things together. Because remember, with children, the big reason they're spelling it wrong is they don't hear it correctly. And so this is something I have found that helps a lot. Is it magic? No. Is it guaranteed? No. You paid me no money. I don't owe you a financial guarantee on this one. But I personally have seen it do a lot with children and help them really understand some of the differences. And I'll just understand. You say understand. I can't spell understand. 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 So I hope this helps. Do me a favor. Let me know what your struggles with your kids are. Maybe I can come up with some stuff for you. If you haven't seen my video that I put out before this about calming down, this is what I'm talking about. There's nothing wrong with coming together and coming up with different ideas and tips and tricks. Just don't freak out about it in your home all by yourself and spiral. We can come together and help each other. Know that you are loved. Bye.